Welcome back to Anarchy in the Ukulele with me, Bongoboy, aka Sam. Today we are looking at this awful piece of ukulele. It is the Gear4music Ukulele. It is £19.99. It is cheap. I got it out of the box. It was completely out of tune. Not a surprise. It hasn't been set up at all. I'm just going to see if I can get it to where it was. The saddle was like that. So it was completely in the wrong place. So I had to slide it back into place. I had to tune it up. It's gone out of tune completely. My dog. It won't stay in tune, so I'm not going to tune it properly. I've already tuned it 3 times. And basically it's very, very cheap. We've experienced cheap ukuleles before. If you haven't seen the Martin Smith video, after this one, go and watch it and stay to the end because, yeah, it's peak entertainment. But just if you have like a weak heart and love the ukulele, maybe this is your warning. This is a disclaimer to be wary when watching the end of it. The thing with these are they're aimed at beginners. Obviously, £20. It's a soprano size, but I also think it's aimed at schools because a school would be able to buy. I mean, you can get them £19.99 each, or they do them as a 5-pack. Where you can get them for £89.99, so it's a little bit cheaper if you buy 5 altogether. And it's basically, instead of a recorder, they play the ukulele, which I think is fantastic, and I hope that everyone who's watching this video agrees. And I can see the appeal for schools that have very limited budget, especially at the moment, where they can get like an entire classroom of ukuleles. If they needed 15, 20 ukuleles, it's not going to be too expensive, and they're playable. They're an all right. They're fine for beginners if you're just starting out. If you're being serious with it, I would stress that you should spend a little bit more, even going up to £50 or £60, 2 or 3 times as expensive as this. You can get a decent soprano, even a decent concert at that sort of price. That will be nicer than this one. I've got a couple of specs I can go through. There's not very many specs, as you can imagine. It is made out of linden laminate, which is just very, very cheap wood. A lot of these cheap, I think the Martin Smith was the same, linden. And it says that it's got an ebonized maple neck and fretboard and bridge. The fretboard is just part of the neck because there's no noticeable join, just a paint line across there, which is interesting. It has 12 frets and they cut you if you're not careful with it. There's one up here that is sharp. You might need to file that down a bit because if you go sliding up the net you are going to cut yourself, and I nearly did when I was unboxing this. It has open geared tuners that are just fairly bog standard tuners. It's painted red, nice colour red. It has fret markers, side markers, then side there, and cheap strings. It's just got, I'd imagine they're just cheap and cheerful strings. That's basically the specs. There's not really anything else that I can say about it. Plastic nut and saddle, and it's pretty awful if you're wanting to play ukulele properly. For schools, as I say, I think that it is brilliant, but as a ukulele player it's not that good. As a percussionist, oh, Yeah, I like it. It's $19.99 well spent if you can get that sound out of it. It's a really nice sound. And you get the strings ring in there sometimes though. If they're in tune. It's not very nice if they're out of tune. Maybe cut the strings off. Cut the strings off. Cut the neck off. And then you've got the body there. And that'd be a really nice percussive instrument.